Italian-style meatballs are typically made with a mixture of ground beef and pork, along with breadcrumbs, eggs, Parmesan cheese, and Italian herbs like basil and oregano. They're often simmered in tomato sauce and can be served with pasta or on their own. The key to their flavor is the combination of meats, seasonings, and the way they are cooked, often browned first, then simmered in sauce. Key ingredients. Meats. A blend of ground beef, often chuck, with a good fat content, and ground pork is common. Some recipes also include veal. Binder. Breadcrumbs, often Italian seasoned, and eggs help hold the meatballs together. Seasonings. Parmesan cheese, garlic, parsley, and Italian herbs like oregano and basil are frequently used. Liquid. Milk or water is often added to the breadcrumbs to create a panade, helping to keep the meatballs moist. Preparation. Mix. Combine all ingredients thoroughly in a bowl, ensuring everything is well incorporated. Form. Roll the mixture into balls of the desired size. Brown. Sear the meatballs in a skillet with olive oil until browned on all sides. Simmer. Add the meatballs to a simmering pot of tomato sauce and cook until fully cooked through. Variations. Spicy. Add red pepper flakes or a pinch of cayenne pepper for a kick. Garlic lovers. Increase the amount of garlic for a more intense flavor. Herb-focused. Experiment with different combinations of fresh herbs like thyme, rosemary, or marjoram. A classic meatball is typically made with ground meat, often beef, but sometimes a combination with pork or veal, breadcrumbs, eggs, cheese, and seasonings like garlic, parsley, salt, and pepper. These ingredients are mixed, formed into balls, and either cooked in sauce, fried, or baked. Classic Italian meatballs are usually simmered in a tomato sauce. Here's a more detailed breakdown. Key ingredients and preparation. Ground meat. Beef is the most common, but pork and veal can be added for flavor and texture. Breadcrumbs. These add substance and help bind the ingredients. Italian breadcrumbs are often preferred, but plain or panko breadcrumbs can also be used. Eggs. Act as a binder to hold the meatballs together during cooking. Cheese. Grated Parmesan or Romano cheese adds flavor and richness. Seasonings. Garlic, parsley, salt, pepper, and sometimes other herbs like oregano or nutmeg are common additions. Milk or broth, often added to keep the meatballs moist and tender. Mixing. The ingredients are combined, usually by hand, until just mixed to avoid a tough texture. Shaping. The mixture is then formed into balls, typically golf ball sized. Cooking. Meatballs are often browned in a pan or baked in the oven, then simmered in tomato sauce for added flavor. Serving. While in America, meatballs are frequently served over spaghetti, in Italy, they are often enjoyed on their own or with a side of ricotta cheese. Tomato sauce is the most common sauce for meatballs, but other sauces can also be used. Turkey meatballs are definitely possible and can be quite delicious. They are a lighter and often healthier alternative to traditional beef meatballs. Many recipes exist for making turkey meatballs, with variations in ingredients and cooking methods. Here's why turkey meatballs are a good option. Healthier. Ground turkey is generally leaner than ground beef, making for a lower-fat meatball. Flavorful. With the right combination of herbs, spices, and other ingredients, turkey meatballs can be just as flavorful as beef or other meat-based meatballs. Versatile. Turkey meatballs can be used in a variety of dishes, such as with pasta, rice, salads, or as appetizers. A beef meatball is a small, round ball of ground beef that is seasoned, sometimes with other ingredients like breadcrumbs, eggs, and herbs, and then cooked. They can be a main dish, appetizer, or an ingredient in various recipes like spaghetti and meatballs. Here's a more detailed explanation. Ingredients. Ground beef. The primary component, often with a mix of fat and lean meat to prevent dryness. Seasonings, salt, pepper, and various herbs and spices are used to enhance the flavor. Binders. Ingredients like breadcrumbs, sometimes soaked in milk or broth, and eggs help hold the meatballs together. Other ingredients, onions, garlic, and other flavorings can be added to the mixture. Cooking methods. Baking. Meatballs are often baked on a wire rack or in a baking dish. Pan frying. Meatballs can be browned in a pan with oil or butter. Simmering. Meatballs can be simmered in sauce, like tomato sauce, for added flavor and tenderness. Serving. Spaghetti and meatballs, a classic Italian-American dish where meatballs are served with spaghetti and tomato sauce. Sandwiches. Meatballs can be used as a filling for sandwiches. Appetizers. Small meatballs can be served as an appetizer, sometimes with dipping sauces. Soups. Meatballs can be added to soups like Italian wedding soup. Variations. Italian meatballs, often made with a combination of beef, pork, and sometimes veal, and seasoned with Italian herbs. Swedish meatballs, a type of meatball that may include beef and pork. Chinese beef balls, a Teochew specialty made with pulverized beef. In essence, beef meatballs are a versatile and delicious dish that can be adapted to various cuisines and preferences. Chinese meatballs, often called lion's head meatballs, shizito, are large, savory pork meatballs, sometimes incorporating other ingredients like vegetables and aromatics. They are traditionally braised or steamed and can be served with or without a sauce, often alongside rice or other side dishes. Another popular variety is pearl meatballs, which are smaller, coated in glutinous rice, and steamed. Swedish meatballs are small, flavorful meatballs, typically made with a combination of beef, pork, and sometimes veal, and often served in a creamy gravy. They're a classic dish in Swedish cuisine, traditionally enjoyed as part of a holiday buffet like the julbord or smorgasbord. Key characteristics include their small size, the use of warm spices like allspice, and being served with a rich, creamy gravy. Here's a more detailed look. Ingredients. Swedish meatballs are usually made with a mixture of ground meats, often beef, pork, and sometimes veal. Breadcrumbs, milk or cream, and seasonings like onion, salt, pepper, and spices, including allspice, nutmeg, and ginger, are also key components. Flavor profile. The meatballs themselves are flavorful due to the combination of meats and the added spices. The creamy gravy, made with beef or chicken broth, cream, and often a touch of sour cream, complements the meatballs perfectly. Serving. Traditionally, Swedish meatballs are served with boiled or mashed potatoes, lingonberry jam, and the creamy gravy. The lingonberry jam adds a sweet and tart contrast to the savory meatballs and gravy. Cultural significance. Meatballs are a staple at Swedish holiday feasts like the julbord and the smorgasbord. While they've become popular worldwide, they hold a special place in Swedish culinary traditions. Variations. Some recipes incorporate other ingredients like garlic, parsley, or even a touch of brown sugar. The gravy can also vary, with some recipes using sour cream for extra richness. Meatballs can be a healthy food choice depending on how they are made and consumed. Leaner meatball recipes, with ingredients like vegetables and whole grains, can be part of a balanced diet, providing protein and other nutrients. However, traditional meatballs, especially those fried and made with fattier meats and breadcrumbs, can be high in calories, saturated fat, and sodium. Here's a more detailed breakdown. Healthy aspects. Protein source. Meatballs, especially those made with lean meats like turkey or chicken, are a good source of protein, which is essential for building and repairing tissues. Healthy fats. Leaner meat options and the addition of healthy fats like olive oil can contribute to a balanced diet, providing insulation, aiding in the absorption of vitamins, and supporting cell growth. Nutrient-rich. Meatballs can be a vehicle for incorporating other healthy ingredients like vegetables and whole grains, boosting their nutritional value. Versatile. Meatballs can be incorporated into various dishes and meal plans, making them a convenient and adaptable option. Portion control. Meatballs can be a good way to manage portion sizes, particularly when used in meal prepping or as part of a balanced meal. Potential unhealthy aspects. High in saturated fat and calories. Traditional meatballs, particularly those fried and made with fattier meats, beef, pork, can be high in saturated fat and calories. I've made this meatball recipe so many times, and my family loves them. I start by stirring breadcrumbs and milk together in a mixing bowl. I let this mixture thicken up for a few minutes, then stir in the egg, Parmesan cheese, and spices. Mixing all these ingredients before adding the ground meat helps ensure the seasonings are evenly distributed. Next, I mix in the ground meat. This recipe works well with most types of ground meat, so use whatever you prefer. I give the mixture a good mix until everything is combined, and then it's time to form the meatballs. Serve these delicious meatballs with your favorite sauce. I love this homemade red pasta sauce. These also make a great appetizer. I've served them with barbecue sauce and our buffalo wing sauce with some blue cheese dressing on the side. You can turn these into meatball subs or stuff them into homemade pita bread with veggies and some hummus. I also love serving these meatballs with veggies. Some favorites are sautéed cabbage, baked sweet potato fries, and roasted broccoli.